Chapter 60. Jen. Following a number of concerns raised, the governors have decided to discontinue the new policy regarding relationships between staff members. We have sufficient trust that any staff with romantic connections will act in a professional manner on site, and we apologise for any negative impression this policy may have created. Yours, etc., Lavender Collins, Chair of Governors. I smile to myself as I read the email on Monday morning. Judy's conversation obviously went well. It's satisfying to think that David can't just get his own way all the time. Jen. Michael walks into my room, and as I glance up at him from my laptop, I can see he's agitated. I close the lid. What's the matter? I've been thinking. He takes a deep breath. Don't take this the wrong way, but I've been wondering if we should change the wedding date. My eyes widen. Sure, it was a shock when he sprung it on me that he'd booked the church and signed us up for marriage prep, but now that I've got my dress and the venue sorted and Katie's made the invites, it would feel very annoying to change it now. Why on earth would he even want to? The thought drops like a stone in my stomach. He's read the email about the HR policy. He doesn't want to marry me anymore. So now David says it's okay for us to date, you don't fancy the hassle of a wedding, do you? I snap. I still want to get married, he exclaims, but maybe we could shift it by a few days. Why? I made a mistake. Oh, really? I say acidly. I don't know how it happened, but then the fire alarm sounds. I've had enough of listening to this anyway. I grab my coat and march out to the yard. Students are pouring out of every door, and the noise of the rabble resembles a crowd of football fans. The day is barely beginning, and students are still coming in through the school gates and facing the confusion of a fire procedure. Staff usher them into rows looking harried. I don't have a form group now that I've taken on my new role, but I stand with the TAs and support staff. I can see Michael talking with Joseph Vermont, a stone's throw from David. Janet Pachelbel turns on a megaphone. All students should wait in a line with their tutor, she says, her crisp tones muffled and distorted slightly. We need to wait until the alarm stops before we can go into the building. The noise level rises as more students arrive, and tutors walk around trying to register them. The problem is, no one knows who's absent anyway, because no registers have been taken yet today. Holly and Liam, two teaching assistants, are discussing the 2 porter cabins that were delivered over the weekend, which are now taking up a significant proportion of the yard. I zone out as I feel the familiar surge of anger mixed with anxiety. Why does Michael want to change the date? How much did the HR policy affect his motivation to propose? And then there's the issue of him turning 30. Was I just a convenient choice, in the right place at the right time? Though she thinks I'm a bit mad to be getting married so soon into the relationship, Steph didn't ever seem surprised that Michael proposed. But Joseph Vermont looks down his nose at me, similar to David Clark. They think I'm a bit of a joke compared to their slick professionalism. Well, no one's suing me at least. That's one thing I have. Michael looks over at me and catches my eye, despite the distance of the yard and 50 rows of disgruntled students between us. I hitch in my breath. I still feel that funny flip of desire when I look at him, and the intensity of his stare suggests that he really wants us to be alone so we can talk, although that's not likely to happen. I know he isn't faking this. It's just that I can't shake the worry of him beginning to listen to David or his dad, the people who don't think I'm good enough for him. Just his comment the other day that he has more to lose due to his house and assets bugged me. He's got that self-righteous, I worked for this attitude, even though he was given a considerable leg up by his parents. We're all working, but some of us get more privileges than others. We have been given the all clear. Janet's magnified voice interrupts my thoughts. Year 7, you may enter the building. Are we doing a briefing? Holly asks me. Yes, come straight to my room. I instruct the group of support staff. I'm going to share with them which pupils they're working with this week and what's coming up. As we head towards the main entrance, I pointedly ignore Michael, but then David Clark calls to me. Jen, have you got a minute? Reluctantly, I step back, allowing the group to overtake me. Did you check your emails this morning? David asks.
I frown, wondering if he's making some reference to the HR policy. I read one or two. So all good with the porter cabin then? I look straight at Michael, feeling my heart sink. He gives me a hopeful smile. I thought you'd appreciate a bigger classroom, he says, and that you could make it into a support hub for students. When exactly did he decide all of this? Why didn't he say anything for the entire weekend about it? The rage is back. I would appreciate being consulted next time, I snap. Thanks for the advanced warning. Not a very satisfied customer? David remarks dryly. At this rate, we won't need a HR policy anyway, because you will have split up. You didn't need a HR policy in the first place, as I believe Lavender Collins admits in her email to staff this morning, I retort. Good to see the governors were willing to listen to reason. I'm repurposing your old room to become a meeting room, David informs me, with a satisfied expression. I hear it's decorated to a high standard. Unexpected tears start into my eyes. I don't expect you would understand what it's like to put your heart and soul into something, I say. Excuse me. I push past to slot into the scrum of students swarming into the school, memories of being one myself suddenly resurfacing with the immersion. I walk slightly unsteadily, thinking of how long it took me to transform what used to be a corridor with lockers into my cosy classroom. Years. Part of me knows that I can do it again, and it won't take that long, and that the porter cabin is a useful step up in terms of space and setting up a designated area for support. But that's not the point. I stumble into my bright orange room, my cat posters forming a colourful display, and the team are waiting for me. I grab a notebook and, shaking off my dazed stupor, read through the announcements I need to make. The bell rings and the team disperse. Then Michael comes in. He's clearly waited till the end of the briefing. You didn't tell me, I accuse. I honestly forgot, he says. I thought you'd be happy you'd been upgraded. You didn't ask. I shake my head. Well, Michael says, gesturing at the layered walls, I didn't think I had to. This used to be a corridor. But it was mine, I argue. I made it my own. Now I'm going to have to shift all this stuff into a freezing cold porter cabin and start everything from scratch all over again. Michael looks taken aback. Is this what it's going to be like being married to you? I ask, feeling my anger build. I find out what decision you've made when it happens to me, like suddenly we're moving house or there's a new car in the driveway. That's not how I wanted you to feel. How would you like it if I did that to you? I demand. If I said, good morning, Michael, I've moved you to a porter cabin. Collect all your stuff and get set up. Congratulations on your upgrade. I'm sorry, he says. I didn't think you'd react like this, but I really wanted us to talk more about the wedding date. I didn't have time to explain. I've been spending the past few months, ever since we got together, saying we need to talk more, I interrupt, holding my hand up like a stop sign in front of him. Now I've got to the point where I don't want to talk anymore. I have a ton of work to do, and I don't have time for your confessions or apologies when you had the whole weekend to do that, and you didn't. Furiously, I grab a box which is half full of copies of A Christmas Carol and start throwing items from my desk into it. I can help you, he says, attempting to take the box, but I snatch it back. No! I raise my voice. David Clark can come in, and I don't care. Just give me some space, Michael. Space? He repeats, dully. I'll let you know when I'm ready to talk, I say. It's not going to be any time soon.